Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to speak about a simple yet profound truth, gratitude. It is a word we often hear, yet its true power is something we must continually discover and embrace. Gratitude is more than just saying thank you. It is the very foundation of a joyful life. When we cultivate thankfulness in our hearts, we find that even the smallest blessings become sources of great joy. It shifts our focus from what is lacking to what has been graciously given. We must always remember that our blessings, our very lives, are gifts beyond measure. They are not earned nor are they owed to us. There is a divine hand that weaves good things into our days, a source of grace that sustains us. When we recognize this truth, gratitude becomes an act of faith, an acknowledgement of something far greater than ourselves. Yet gratitude is often most difficult to find when we face trials, when pain and hardship seem to surround us. But it is precisely in these moments that gratitude shines brightest. For even in our struggles, there are lessons, growth, and hope. To be grateful in adversity is to affirm that our spirit will not be broken, that we trust in a purpose beyond the pain. This thankfulness transforms us. It softens the heart, heals broken relationships, and lights a path for… A grateful heart sees the world not as a place of scarcity, but as a place filled with grace and possibility. Gratitude is also humility. It reminds us of our dependence on a higher power and on one another. It is a recognition that we are not self-sufficient, but part of a greater story, woven together by love and mercy. Finally, true gratitude is expressed not only in words, but in actions. When we live lives of service, kindness and generosity, we become living testimonies of thankfulness. Our deeds become a powerful language that proclaims the gratitude within. So, my friends, let us open our hearts to gratitude today. Let us thank not only with our lips but with our lives. For in gratitude, we find the key to a life of joy, peace and unwavering hope. Gratitude is the cornerstone of true joy. When we choose to focus on the blessings in our lives, no matter how small, we build a foundation for lasting happiness. It is easy to get caught up in what we lack, but gratitude shifts our attention to what we already have. This simple change in perspective can transform our entire outlook and bring peace to our hearts. Joy does not come from circumstances alone, but from the attitude we cultivate. Gratitude opens our eyes to the beauty that surrounds us every day, the warmth of the sun, the kindness of a friend, or the comfort of a safe home. When we appreciate these gifts, joy naturally grows within us. It is not something we have to chase, it is something that grows from within. Living a life grounded in gratitude helps us to become more content. Contentment does not mean settling for less, but recognizing the value of what we possess. When we are grateful, we stop comparing ourselves to others and start embracing our unique journey. This acceptance brings a quiet joy that no external event can take away. Gratitude also strengthens our relationships. When we express thanks to others, we build deeper connections and foster trust. People feel valued and loved when we recognize their efforts and kindness. This exchange of gratitude creates a cycle of positivity and joy that benefits everyone involved. Moreover, gratitude helps us to cope with life's challenges. In difficult times, focusing on what we are thankful for provides a source of strength and hope. It reminds us that even in pain, there are moments of grace and reasons to keep moving forward. This resilient joy is not dependent on perfect conditions but is rooted in a grateful heart. Our mental and physical well-being improve when we practice gratitude regularly. Studies show that thankful people experience less stress, lower rates of depression and better sleep. The joy that flows from gratitude nourishes our whole being, enabling us to live healthier and fuller lives. Gratitude is a daily choice. It requires intentional effort to recognize and give thanks for the many blessings that fill our life. By making gratitude a habit, we reinforce a joyful mindset that carries us through every season, good or bad. In all these ways, gratitude builds the foundation for a joyful life. It is the soil from which happiness grows and the light that brightens our path. When we embrace gratitude, we discover that joy is not distant or elusive, it is always within reach, waiting to be claimed. To truly appreciate our blessings, we must first recognize where they come from. Every good thing in our lives, whether it is health, family or opportunity, flows from a source greater than ourselves. This recognition humbles us and opens our hearts to gratitude. Without acknowledging the origin of our blessings, we risk taking them for granted or believing we have earned them by our own efforts alone. Understanding the source of our blessings helps us see that life is a gift. It is not merely the result of chance or personal achievement. When we realize that a higher power or divine grace is behind all that is good in our lives, we begin to live with deeper reverence and respect. This awareness invites us to live with humility and dependence rather than pride and self-sufficiency. Recognizing the source of blessings also encourages us to trust in providence. When we face uncertainty or difficulty, this trust provides peace and assurance. We come to believe that no matter the circumstances, there is a loving power watching over us and guiding our steps. This faith in the source of our blessings brings hope and courage in times of trial. Furthermore, knowing where our blessings come from inspires us to be good stewards of them. We understand that these gifts are not ours to hoard or waste, but to use wisely and generously. This perspective shifts our attitude from ownership to stewardship, calling us to honor the source by caring for what has been entrusted to us. Acknowledging the origin of our blessings also strengthens our relationships with others. When we recognize that all people are recipients of this same grace, we develop empathy and compassion. We begin to see others not as competitors or obstacles, but as fellow beneficiaries of a generous source. This understanding fosters unity and kindness. Moreover, recognizing the source of blessings deepens our sense of purpose. We realize that our lives are part of a larger story, connected to something eternal and meaningful. This realization gives us a reason to live not just for ourselves but for others and for the greater good. It brings meaning to our daily actions and choices. It is important to remember that recognizing the source of our blessings is an ongoing journey. It requires daily reflection and gratitude to keep our hearts aligned with this truth. When we cultivate this awareness consistently, it transforms how we live and how we respond to both joy and hardship. And every moment, the source of our blessings invites us to trust, to serve, and to be thankful. When we open our eyes to this reality, life becomes richer and more fulfilling. We understand that we are never truly alone or self-made, but always supported by a love far beyond ourselves. Gratitude during difficult times is one of the most powerful and transformative practices we can employ. When life brings challenges, pain or loss, it is natural to feel overwhelmed and discouraged. Yet, choosing to find something to be grateful for, even in the midst of hardship, can provide a source of strength and hope that sustains us when everything else feels uncertain. Difficult times often reveal the true depth of our character and faith. When we look for reasons to be thankful despite our struggles, we shift our focus from despair to resilience. Gratitude helps us recognize that even in the darkest moments, there is a spark of light, a blessing, a lesson or a sign of grace that can guide us forward. It is important to remember that gratitude in hardship does not mean ignoring pain or pretending that everything is fine. Instead, it means acknowledging the reality of suffering while also embracing the gifts that still exist within or alongside that pain. This balanced perspective allows us to hold both sorrow and thankfulness in our hearts. Practicing gratitude in tough times can change our relationship with adversity. Instead of seeing challenges solely as obstacles or punishments, we begin to view them as opportunities for growth and transformation. Gratitude opens the door for healing and helps us discover strength we did not know we had. Moreover, expressing gratitude when life is difficult can strengthen our relationships. Sharing thankfulness for the support, love, or kindness we receive from others during hard seasons creates bonds of trust and encouragement. It reminds us that we are not alone and that we are surrounded by people who care. Gratitude in adversity also nourishes our spirit. It reminds us of the unchanging presence of hope and faith, even when circumstances are unstable. By focusing on what remains good and true, we cultivate a peace that transcends the trials we face, allowing us to persevere with grace. This practice is not always easy and often requires intentional effort, courage to look beyond immediate pain and to seek out reasons for thankfulness. But with patience and persistence, gratitude can become a powerful refuge and a steady source of light in the storm. Ultimately, gratitude in difficult times transforms our experience of suffering. It does not erase pain, but it enriches our hearts and minds with hope, perspective and strength. When we embrace gratitude even in hardship, we discover a deeper joy that no challenge can take away. Gratitude holds a remarkable power to transform our lives from the inside out. When we cultivate a heart of thankfulness, we begin to see the world through a new lens, one filled with appreciation and hope. This shift changes not only how we feel but also how we act, leading to profound and lasting transformation. At its core, gratitude reshapes our mindset. Instead of focusing on what is missing or wrong, we start to notice the abundance that surrounds us. This awareness reduces feelings of envy, resentment, and dissatisfaction. In its place grows contentment, peace, and joy, creating fertile ground for positive change. The transformative power of gratitude also affects our relationships. When we express genuine thanks to those around us, we strengthen bonds and build trust. People respond to appreciation with warmth and kindness, deepening connections and fostering a sense of community. Gratitude turns relationships into sources of mutual support and encouragement. Moreover, gratitude can heal wounds of the heart. It softens bitterness and anger by reminding us of the good that still exists. Even in difficult circumstances, thankfulness opens the door to forgiveness and reconciliation. Through gratitude, broken relationships and painful memories can find new life and restoration. On a spiritual level, gratitude connects us to something greater than ourselves. It cultivates humility by recognizing that many blessings are gifts beyond our control. This realization draws us into a deeper sense of awe and reverence, transforming our inner world and renewing our sense of purpose and meaning. Gratitude also empowers us to live with greater generosity. When we acknowledge all that we have received, we become inspired to give freely to others. This outward expression of thankfulness spreads kindness and creates a ripple effect of transformation that reaches far beyond ourselves. The practice of gratitude requires intentionality. It calls us to pause, reflect, and consciously count our blessings each day. Over time, this discipline rewires our brains and hearts, making thankfulness a natural and enduring part of who we are. In every aspect of life, the transformative power of gratitude can renew us, mind, body, and spirit. It lifts us from despair to hope, from isolation to connection, and from emptiness to fulfillment. When we embrace gratitude fully, we unlock a life of deeper joy, peace, and abundant grace. When we give thanks, we acknowledge that our lives are part of a greater story, one that is shaped by forces beyond our control. This recognition deepens our faith and humbles our hearts, reminding us that we are not self-made or self-sufficient. To express gratitude is to admit our dependence on a higher power, on the kindness of others. It is an act of surrender that says, I am not alone. I receive life and blessings as gifts. This humility opens the door for grace to enter, and it strengthens our trust in the unseen source of all good things. Faith and humility walk hand in hand with gratitude, because each requires us to see beyond ourselves. Faith calls us to believe in what we cannot fully understand or control, and gratitude is the natural response to that belief. When we are thankful, we affirm that there is meaning and purpose behind the blessings we receive. Gratitude rooted in faith helps us navigate life's uncertainties with courage. It reassures us that even when circumstances are difficult, we are supported by a loving presence. This humble trust allows us to face challenges without despair, knowing that all things work together in a greater plan. Humility through gratitude also softens our pride and selfishness. It teaches us to value others and their contributions, recognizing that no one thrives alone. When we are thankful, we see the interconnectedness of life and are moved to act with kindness and generosity. In this way, gratitude transforms our relationships with both God and neighbor. It draws us closer to the divine and to those around us, creating a community built on respect, love, and mutual support. This spiritual humility nurtures peace within us and harmony in the world. Practicing gratitude as an act of faith and humility requires intentionality and reflection. It calls us to pause and recognize the blessings in our lives, big and small, and to give thanks with sincerity. Over time, this discipline shapes our character and deepens our spiritual journey. Ultimately, gratitude as an expression of faith and humility invites us into a life marked by reverence and grace. It reminds us that we are always held in a greater love, that our lives are gifts, and that our response is to live with thankful hearts grounded in trust and humility. Gratitude is most powerful when it moves beyond words and becomes visible in our actions. Expressing thankfulness through deeds is a way to truly honor the blessings we have received. It shows that our gratitude is sincere and not just something we say in passing. Actions make our thankfulness tangible and impactful. One of the simplest ways to express gratitude is through acts of kindness. When we help others, we reflect the blessings we have experienced by sharing them. Whether it is offering a listening ear, lending a helping hand, or giving generously, these actions demonstrate that we value what we have been given and want to pass it on. Serving others also deepens our own gratitude. By stepping outside of ourselves and focusing on the needs of those around us, we grow in empathy and appreciation. Service reminds us that life is not only about receiving but about giving back. It creates a cycle where gratitude fuels generosity and generosity nurtures gratitude. Expressing gratitude through action strengthens our relationships. When we show appreciation by supporting, encouraging, and loving others, we build bonds of trust and affection. People feel seen and valued when their efforts are acknowledged in meaningful ways. This enriches both the giver and the receiver. In times of hardship, expressing gratitude through actions can be a powerful testimony of faith. It shows resilience and hope as we choose to bless others despite our own struggles. These acts of grace reveal the depth of our thankfulness and inspire others to find reasons for gratitude in their own lives. Gratitude expressed in daily habits also transforms our character. Small, consistent acts like saying a thank you, writing notes of appreciation, or volunteering time become the rhythm of a thankful life. These actions cultivate humility and mindfulness, shaping us into people who naturally live with grateful hearts. Our communities and societies are strengthened when gratitude is expressed through collective action. Acts of kindness, charity, and service build environments where people feel cared for and supported. Gratitude becomes a force for good that can heal divisions and promote peace. Ultimately, expressing gratitude through actions completes the circle of thankfulness. Words may open the door, but actions walk us through it. When our lives reflect our gratitude, we become living examples of thankfulness, inspiring others and drawing closer to the fullness of joy that gratitude brings.